Men's pound-for-pound king Alexander Volkanovski is easily the best fighter on the planet right now, but for some reason is still criminally underrated. However, respected MMA journalist Ariel Helwani has recently gone to bat for Volk, who is next out when he challenges for lightweight gold in February. Today we're discussing Helwani's words on Volkanovski, plus Volk's plan to dominate two divisions in a way Conor never did. Stay with us. First up, Paddy Pimblett has given his thoughts on Volk's upcoming lightweight title fight. Popular showman Paddy the Batty Pimblett returned to the octagon last weekend, scoring a decision win over the tough Jared Gordon. Some people claim the Liverpool man benefited from some generous scoring, but as the old saying goes, where Gordon is concerned, if you leave it in the hands of the judges, you give yourself the chance of being robbed. In the build-up to the fight, Pimblett gave his thoughts on the upcoming lightweight title fight between Volk and newly crowned champ Islam Makhachev, and Paddy is throwing his full support behind the Aussie. The Batty clearly believes Volk has what it takes to get the job done and become a two-division champion, admitting that that is the outcome he would like to see. Speaking about the featherweight king, Pimblett said, "I think he's an absolutely amazing fighter. He's top quality. He's rightfully so pound for pound #1 in the world. I'd like to see him win the belt," before explaining that he's got a tough task ahead of him because Islam Makhachev is also an amazing fighter, but I back him. Paddy then went on to point out how the step up in weight won't be difficult for Volk, as he is used to sparring with much bigger men in the gym. He then explained that although he hasn't met him, he's a nice fella, and he is hoping to meet him in person sometime soon. Do you agree with Paddy? Next up, Volk has returned the favor. Alexander Volkanovski has recently been sharing his thoughts on Paddy in what could be an emerging MMA bromance. Just before his UFC bout this past weekend, Volk praised the Batty for his approach in the top MMA organization thus far, describing the popular Scouser as a cash cow. Pimblett has yet to taste defeat so far in his UFC career, racking up 4 straight wins along the way. But Saturday's fight represented the toughest test so far against the seasoned Jared Gordon. The fight was the first time he had been taken to a decision in the UFC, having previously finished Luigi Vendramini, Rodrigo Vargas, and Jordan Levitt, and he again managed to get the job done this past weekend, but had to rely on what some described as favorable scoring from the officials. And speaking on his YouTube channel before Paddy's fight, Volk explained that although he is a potential opponent down the line, he doesn't mind seeing guys like Paddy do well, especially when there's so much hype, and he's bringing a lot of eyes to the sport. Volk went on to explain that he respects Paddy for what he is doing, also giving him props for not rushing in and trying to fight the best straight away, before adding he's still young, still learning, earning his way in, building that hype up. At the same time, I think he's doing it right, so good on him. What do you make of Volk's praise? Rafael dos Anjos has had his say on the upcoming Volk versus Makhachev fight. Former lightweight king Rafael dos Anjos doesn't understand why Islam Makhachev is taking on Volk in his first title defense. The Brazilian has recently suggested that the newly crowned champ should be taking on a bona fide lightweight challenger, but with no one putting a real win streak together of late, it seems pretty obvious why Volk is being given a shot. RDA and Makhachev have been scheduled to fight on multiple occasions over the past couple of years, but for one reason or another, the fight has never materialized. But Dos Anjos still feels he should be fighting someone who regularly competes at lightweight. Speaking before his submission win over Brian Barberena at UFC Orlando last weekend, RDA said, "I think Islam will win that fight against Volkanovski. I think he could take somebody at lightweight, a real challenge. But these guys, I can't understand them. Who do you guys think will come out on top?" Volk has sent a message to a fellow featherweight now. Bryce Mitchell went to war with Ilia Topuria last weekend, but was unable to keep hold of his perfect record as he was submitted by the Georgian-Spanish fighter in the second round. Volk had actually predicted Topuria would get the job done before the fight, but got the method of victory slightly wrong as he claimed Topuria would KO Bryce. Mitchell has called the featherweight king out on a few separate occasions of late, but Volk isn't having it and recently warned Bryce to be careful what he wishes for. Responding to Mitchell's callouts, Volk said, "I know Bryce has called me out a few times, but come on, mate. You're not holding me down. You know that, Bryce. Stop calling me out." Of course, Volk won't defend his featherweight title next time out, so it might be some time before these two throw down. But with Mitchell losing on Saturday and the interim title winner surely getting the next shot, it may not happen at all. There is also a certain Arnold Allen to consider, who should have been fighting for the interim title. So what about Volk's plans to dominate two divisions? Let's see. Volk takes on Islam Makhachev early next year in the Showpiece event, which will also double as the Russian's first title defense. And speaking recently, he has outlined just what it would mean for the sport if he could get the job done come fight night. Volk has explained that he is on the verge of an achievement not even matched by Conor McGregor when he became champ back in 2016. As you will remember, McGregor became double champion after easily relieving Eddie Alvarez of his lightweight crown, but he never defended either title during his reign and was stripped shortly afterward. And Volk seems to think that this is something he can certainly achieve. As he explained recently, being active in two belts is something no one has done well, especially in two stacked divisions that you need to keep active. That is a big task that I look forward to doing. That motivates me. The man from Down Under then added, "A lot of people think it can't be done. I'll show you. And we're sure he probably can too." Referencing his unmatched desire to fight, Volk explained that no one is as eager to fight as him, before describing the Makhachev bout as a big challenge. He then went on to add that he plans to be active in both divisions. Of course, anything is possible when your name is Alexander Volkanovski, which is exactly what he alluded to by saying, "Nobody is unstoppable and I'm going to show you that." Do you guys think he can become a two-division champ? So, can he really be active in two divisions? Well, he seems to think so, and who are we to say otherwise? Suggesting he is the right man for the job, Volk went on to suggest that he is attempting the feat for the sake of his legacy. Volk described himself as someone who isn't the same as everyone else, saying, "There's going to be a lot of people doubting me. Just remember how impossible you thought this was when I win against Makhachev, and remember to give me that respect. Don't change the narrative once I win." Of course, this sort of thing is something he has had to deal with his entire career, and it seems as though in every fight he has booked in, someone somewhere is claiming that there is no way the great can win. His incredible 25-1 record suggests otherwise though, and it is about time people start putting some respect on his name. Revealing that he told the UFC that he won't hold up the featherweight division, he added that once the bosses saw he was serious, there wasn't pushback, before saying, "I was telling them I wanted to do both divisions, but they were like, 'Look man, what if you get injured and all of a sudden two divisions are down?' So I understand that. I'm more than okay with the whole interim title." Volk then suggested that when he gets both belts, he will fight again almost straight away, saying, "I want to fight. I ain't going to be young forever." And finally, Helwani has been discussing Volk. Ariel Helwani is one of the most popular MMA reporters out there, not least because he refuses to be bullied by Dana White. He is also one of the most respected voices in MMA and knows what he is talking about, and he has recently been discussing one Alexander Volkanovski and why he is still so underrated. Having beaten all comers in his UFC career so far and dominated the featherweight division, Volk is on course to become one of the greatest combat athletes of all time, with wins over legendary fighters such as Jose Aldo and Max Holloway. The Great has so far defended his featherweight crown on 4 occasions and outclassed the Korean Zombie in April before beating Holloway for the 3rd time over the summer. Helwani was recently asked how and why Volk is perceived the way he is on his On the Nose segment during the MMA Hour podcast, when he explained that his down-to-earth nature could be the reason. He said, "You want to talk about arguably the most underrated pound-for-pound best fighter in the history of the sport? That's Alex Volkanovski." Ariel, who angered Paddy Pimblett and Dana White recently, added that he is overlooked because he isn't flashy and refuses to run around cutting promos and wearing fancy clothes. Helwani then added that Volk is as humble as it gets and is also one of the best fighters to ever compete in the UFC, and we couldn't agree more. As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to swing by again next time when we will be talking about other cool bits and pieces. And don't forget to like and share whilst also subscribing to our channel. Bye guys!